If you've ever watched the Andy Griffith Show on TV, you may remember Andy and his deputy, Barney Fife, saying to each other, "We have a prisoner from Mount Pilot who's going to be spending the night with us, and we have to take him on to another city tomorrow." Or, "A package just arrived from Mount Pilot." There is no Mount Pilot. However, there is a Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. I know this because that's where my daddy grew up, and that's where my grandparents lived for their entire lives. Pilot Mountain was a small town when Daddy was growing up there. There was an axe handle factory, a mom and pop grocery store, a post office, and then there was a drugstore. Dr. Drigger's drugstore, everybody called it, even though the person who owned it wasn't a real doctor. He just filled all the prescriptions. At Dr. Drigger's drugstore, you could go in, and on the left side, you could buy toiletry items that you needed, such as bobby pins and hand cream and shampoo. Or you could walk down the aisle and you could buy aspirin or salves or cough drops. In the back was Dr. Drigger's pharmacy, and people would walk back there to pick up the medicines they had called in to him. On the right-hand side was the most popular area of the store. That was the soda fountain. The soda fountain was popular because people would buy Cokes or ginger ale or sandwiches, but the most popular item they would buy was ice cream. They would buy ice cream cones and dishes and sundaes, banana splits, milkshakes. Why was this so popular? Because this was the only place in town that could keep ice cream. Everybody else had an ice box at home. An ice box was shaped like a refrigerator, and once or twice a week, a slab of ice would be placed underneath the bottom to keep the items in the ice box cold. However, it could not keep them frozen. So, if you wanted to have any type of ice cream at all, you had to go to Dr. Drigger's drugstore. One hot summer day, Joe Needham was driving his refrigerator truck down the steep hill toward Tom's Creek Bridge. He had to get down there, cross the bridge, and then go up the other side of the hill to get to Dr. Drigger's drugstore. What he didn't know was that there was a new, deep rut in that road. And his right front tire hit that deep rut, and when it did, the truck shook back and forth and finally fell over to the side. When that happened, the back doors both flew open, and all the ice cream came tumbling out onto the ground. Joe felt of himself and made sure his arms were all right and that he hadn't hurt his head or his legs, and then he started climbing out of the window. He looked at all that ice cream on the ground in the back, and he thought to himself, what am I going to do with this on this hot day? Up on the other side of the hill was Carl Dell Boyles, who was mowing his grass. Carl Dell laid down his lawnmower and he ran down the hill, all the time shouting, "Joe, are you all right? Joe, I'll be there in a minute." But Joe wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking about that ice cream. What was he going to do with it? And he had an idea. So when Carl Dell arrived, Joe just grabbed him by the shoulders and said to him, "Tell everybody you see to come out here and bring a spoon." Carl Dell's eyes got big, And he nodded his head, turned, and raced up the hill. Joe began arranging the ice cream by flavors. He put all of the vanilla ice cream under this shade tree, all the chocolate under this one, all the strawberry under this one, and he made sure that the lids were as tight as could be. People soon began arriving at the top of the hill. One person drove a car. Most people rode horses or mules or bicycles. A lot of folks, though, just walked or ran, and they walked down the hill and stood in a line. They were very quiet. Everybody was holding a spoon, and they looked at Joe. Joe looked up and down at all of them and said, "Dig in." And they did. They ran over to that ice cream, and they pulled the boxes open, and they started eating the vanilla ice cream, the chocolate ice cream, the strawberry ice cream. Some people stuck to the same flavor the entire time. Others went from one to another as if it were one giant serving of Neapolitan ice cream. And before you knew it, all the ice cream was gone. The only thing that was left in any of those cartons were a few little melted drops of ice cream. Everybody was very satisfied. They walked up the hill carrying their spoons, got on their horses, bicycles, mules, in their car, walked home. News of the ice cream social spread all over Pilot Mountain and lasted for weeks. And the people who were out of town at that time were certainly sorry that they were. After that day, things changed at Dr. Dricker's drugstore. No longer was the question first asked when people entered the store, "Is my prescription ready yet?" It soon became, "When's the next ice cream delivery?"